podcast. You know what it is. Welcome again to the NBA Basketball Talk Show, where we talk about all things basketball, all things NBA. On this week's episode, we look at the Philadelphia 76ers. Doc Rivers 6-1, Joel Embiid 25 points, 13 assists this season. Ben Simmons actually scored a three. So yeah, we just discussed what's been going on with the Philly, the influence of Doc Rivers compared to last season, Brett Brown. We're also going to look into some early predictions into the MVP race. Can KD, after being out for almost 2 years, come back to be in contention for the MVP? LeBron James, his last MVP was in 2013. To me, still clearly the best player in the league. Can he win it this season again? Kawhi Leonard, load management. I'm not sure about that, but even Paul George, can he win the MVP? Giannis, Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Devin Booker, even Nathan Davis. Who've we got? We start today's show by talking about the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry recently had a 62-point performance against the Portland Trail Blazers, which was actually his career high. The next night against the Sacramento Kings, he follows that up with a 30-point performance. Can he actually lead them to the playoffs without Klay Thompson? Draymond Green, back from injury, brings kind of like a leadership presence. What can he do this season? Kelly Oubre, nice addition to the squad. James Wiseman, potentially Rookie of the Year. He's a good player, runs the floor, blocks a lot of shots, looking decent so far. Also, is Steph a top 5 player in the league? Let's find out.
Let me just kind of clarify my comments. So, like, I'm a big Steph Curry fan as well. I'm not backtracking, but my point is, the conversation was, we're ranking top five players in the NBA, right? And the reason why I didn't put Steph Curry in that list is he hasn't done it before. Personally, do I think he can do it for a full season and into the playoffs? No, because there's certain limitations he has, which is due to no fault of his own. I mean, he's not the tallest guy, it's not the strongest guy, but he's definitely a great player still. But I still wouldn't have him in my top five. I don't think he's going to lead the Warriors on a long playoff run either. So I still kind of stand by my comments. Steph Curry is maybe the only player, him and KD, I think, that would work well on every team in the NBA. Yes. And can play with everyone. But because of his physical limitations, maybe the wear and tear, his injuries, that kind of stuff, I just don't, I wouldn't have him with Giannis and LeBron and KD. I wouldn't have him on the top five list. Having said that, he might be number 6 or number 7, but top 5 is still enough.
So far, what he's done so far this season. So do you actually believe he can potentially lead the Warriors to a deep playoff run, or do you think it's just like that?
No, I mean, if they get in the playoffs, they'll be. I'm predicting it'll be 7th or 8th seed if they get in there, and then that's the end of the road.
Tony wants to come in, or Clay, or Obi Tai.
Okay, so this is a question to Ola. So 2 seasons ago, when is it 2 seasons? Yeah, when Kevin Durant was in the Warriors, would you say Steph was one of your a top 5 player?
I think no, I wouldn't say so, because this limitations I mentioned. I mean, these problems have been there since then. Like I wouldn't say they're problems, but okay, it's not great defensively. So he's a great scorer, he's a great dribbler, he can do everything else. But like my example to you would be Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook was kind of in a similar position with OKC, when he was the only one there. The season where he won MVP, average triple double, did everything, went from assists to scoring points to rebounds. Can Steph Curry do that for a full season? I don't think so. So even 2 years ago, I wouldn't say he was in my top 5.
Well, I don't know. I think for me, I think I'll have him there in that top 5. You know, for a player to score 62 points in one game, I say something else. And for him to carry the Warriors, you know, even without KD, to the NBA championship like twice, or 3 times. I might be wrong here, but that speaks volumes. And as of now, he's the greatest 3-point shooter that the game has ever seen. So based on these facts, I'll definitely rank him up there, amongst the top 5.
So who else is in your top 5? I think you went there last week. Who else is in your top 5?
Well, NBA, I would say, first of all, Michael Jordan is number 1.
No, I mean, say the current players.
Current players. I would say LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry.
Giannis, would you have Giannis in there?
Yes, actually, yeah. I'll have Giannis in there. And then the 5th one,
Anthony Davis, no?
I don't know. I'm not really convinced yet, though. With his play recently, I'm not really convinced yet with him. But there's another player I'm looking at. Let me see.
Kawhi Leonard?
Yes, actually. Sorry, how could I forget that? Yeah, Kawhi Leonard.
Anthony, I know you're a big Warrior fan. Have you got anything to add to what Ola said? And Obi?
When my boy dropped that 62 points, I was like, he's fully healed from his injury. When he also put out that video of him scoring 100 and something points, I was like, this nigga been robbed. Where's the Guinness Book of Records? But hey, Steph Curry, I don't really need to say much, honestly. We all know what he's done, what he's capable of. You name another three-point shooter out there who can, under the best amount of defensive pressure, can still sink in threes normally, like it was a 100% chance. So there's not much to. I don't need to hype up Steph Curry. His statistics speak for himself.
So do you actually think he can lead you guys to the playoffs of the season?
One thing I'll say about this season, right? This is the beginning. Look, everyone's making a lot of predictions. How many games have happened? Like each team, more or less 7 games now, 6 games. Guys, it's very early. It's very early. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. The Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals are 7th position. Does anybody think here they're not going to enter the top 5?
No, the Bucks will make it. They'll make it down. I guess I'll just kind of round up my feelings, right? So we've mentioned the players we've mentioned today: LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, and there's a name we haven't mentioned, and that's James Harden. If you take any of those players and stick them on the Warriors team they have right now, I think I would say a definite yes, they'd make the playoffs. But to me, it's only Steph Curry where there's a conversation about it. And even you, Tony, you can't say for sure.
The problem we have right now is the youths. That's the problem.
Well,
Look,
if you take Steph Curry out and you put any of those players we've mentioned, I think most people would say, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I would say yes, they'll definitely make the playoffs. That's why I have those guys in the top 5. And
actually, I disagree with you there. James Harden would not be a good fit in the Warriors' current rotation. I don't think if he was there in place of Steph Curry, they'll make the playoffs. I don't think so. You're assuming that he's going to put the exact same amount of points he has with the Rockets, but you have to look at the structure of the team.
Well, for me, I think Curry's going to lead them to a playoff position. Like you already see, it's out early days, but he leads the league in scoring already. Draymond's back playing lockdown defense. Like I think people forget about Draymond Green. Like he is a good defensive player, and he kind of picks up where Steph Curry kind of misses out defensively. And since he's been back, the Warriors are looking a lot better.
Yeah, more aggressive as well.
Looking youthful, kind of naive. I can't see them getting a high playoff spot, but they'll make the playoffs and probably a first round exit because they'll end up against the Clippers or the Lakers, and that's just not going to go over well. But
I mean,
it'd be the same with James Harden if he was there. I think he'd lead them to the playoffs, and they'd go out first round as well because the other pieces aren't in the team.
So, like, do you think they have enough in terms of like the players right now? So they go, I think, Kelly Oubre, they go Andrew Wiggins, they go, I think, that rookie James Wiseman, which I think he's quite good. Like, he actually plays some defense, he rebounds, he blocks shots. So do you think currently they have Draymond Green come back as well? Do you actually think they do have enough to actually kind of like, potentially maybe get like to the second round of playoffs? Or like, do you think they're not strong enough? Obviously, Klay Thompson's in there. So like, what do you guys think right now of them?
I think the thing is, with time, they're going to get mentally fortified. That's the problem with the youths. It's a lot of pressure coming in. Usually you'd have like your second all-star who would take a lot of the pressure, and these guys can jump on whatever it is, get more minutes towards the end of third quarter, fourth quarter. They're coming in with more confidence, but now they're starters. Like some of them are actual starters in still in rotation, but like there's a lot of pressure that you're playing with Steph Curry. You're young. You don't want to make a mistake. You're going to start second guessing yourself. You're going to believe in yourself. Draymond Green came back. Look how aggressive the Warriors were playing.
Yeah, true.
It was like, okay, yeah, we've got so much experience now on the floor. At the same time, they said playing more confidently, the things that we're doing, the way they were attacking the basket is evident. It's just the beginning of the season, so I'm not gonna say. I mean, I say within the next 5 games, then we can honestly say each team has shown a trend that's probably be good enough to make a prediction on. But right now, I mean, we have a better record than the freaking Denver Nuggets. Look where they made it last season. I mean, guys, it's too early to make some ridiculous predictions here.
What about you, Ty?
No, I think he can for sure. Well, I think I'm pretty much gonna agree with Steven more or less. Like I can't really see them not getting there, but winning is a different story.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really have much to say on that, but yeah, that's basically it. Tony, I was interested to know when you said James, if you were to replace James with Steph, that they wouldn't be better, and the question was why? Like, why is that so? Like, what pieces do they need around James to actually win the title?
Well, put it this way: the Golden State Warriors team is built more or less around the arc, right? We have a lot of, when we're full and healthy, we have a lot of 3-point shooters. So it's kind of like you're there double teaming Steph Curry. You've got Klay Clay to worry about. James Harden, he likes to do a lot of ISO. We move the ball around because we have at least 3 people on the floor who are extremely dangerous around the arc, and then that obviously opens up the middle for us when we want to pass it in. You put in James there, you're going to start playing a lot more ISO. We run a lot of pick and rolls as well. It will work, but James really likes that ISO. He likes to hold the ball and dictate, whereas Steph Curry will bring it up pass, and he does most of his magic off the ball. People forget that. The way he moves around, like you've heard defenders like he's a fucking nightmare to defend, whereas James is like, nah, I'm with the ball. I'm dictating how things go. And don't get me wrong, it works for him, but on the Golden State team, it's a bit different. No one person just hogs the ball. We pass a lot. So if James Harden is coming to the Golden State Warriors team, he's gonna have to pass a lot more. And honestly, I've seen him pass obviously, but he just what was that stat again? His ball handling stats. He was the highest. Him and Russell Westbrook shared the points difference. Last season or the season before, even the last few seasons, to be honest.
So basically, what you're saying is that just the team is just built around Steph, and that's pretty much the only reason. But if you were to take Steph and you were to put him in Houston, for example, it's still going to be a flop.
Yeah.
All right. So in that sense, James is just more flexible. But Steph is just the perfect guy for his team.
No, James is not flexible for Golden State Warriors. It's the same thing. Put him on the net, he's going to have to do a lot of sacrifice between Kyrie and KD on the ball. It depends on the team's makeup. Each team right now is every NBA team more or less. Well, the ones that really matter have all tailored towards their one or top 2 all-star. That's just
the most flexible all-star then is
the most flexible
KD.
right now. LeBron James. We've seen him do it. He's switching
not
out to
KD,
more of
no?
a point guard role, but he can still attack the paint. He can shoot threes, albeit not crazy good, but he's just more flexible. KD's flexible as well. KD's more flexible than James Harden, in my opinion.
I would say I would come in and say, look, KD to me is the dream superstar anyone wants to play with in the NBA right now. You can see that when he played at OKC, it was great. Played with Russell. It went to Warriors, and with the team of superstars, he just fit in. He doesn't need many shots, doesn't need many dribbles. He does what he wants, and he's effective on both ends of the floor. And he's at the Nets now, and he's still doing his thing. So I would say it's KD. I just want to clarify, I love Steph Curry, right? I'm not a Steph Curry hater. I just prefer 5 other guys to him in the NBA.
But let me ask you this. You said you prefer Kevin Durant, right? I get it. Statistically, all around great. But would you not prefer LeBron James with the whole leadership aspect that he brings into teams? Plus, he puts up figures, albeit his defense is, his age and his defense are showing. But
do you care about that leadership aspect? I mean, if you have a team and the team just works, think of what's the dude's name again? Toronto. You can look at him and you can say, well, he's not a leader, but I mean, he won. He's going down. He's going down in history for Toronto.
He won last year. There was no leader in LA for the Clippers, and when they were backed up against the wall, they just kind of all sat and looked at each other. Nobody stepped up and took it okay, come on, we're going to change things. Let's get into gear. Nobody led the team. They're great players. You need a leader because there is going to be times where you're down in the game.
Yeah. Exactly, I agree as well.
Yeah. Okay, then for Toronto, then was there a time when they were down, where they needed leadership?
Yeah, but Lowry was kind of their leader, right?
Still is.
And Van Vliet stepped up at the time as well when Kawhi wasn't putting it up big points, and same with Siakam. The other players take the brunt and kind of drive. They wanted it.
Yeah, that team that year was a freaking. Siakam won. What was it?
Most improved player,
wasn't it?
Yeah, most improved player.
Yeah. That team was just really good. Now, if he was to stay there, could they have won it the next season? Well,
probably no.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, so is the problem with the Clippers? I mean, okay, for Kawhi, yeah. So last year, was a problem just leadership? When you watch them play, do you just think, oh, this is a leadership issue?
They didn't have a dedicated point guard, somebody who was look, they didn't have that. Number 2, on the court, you didn't really see anybody strong arm in the plays. When LeBron is on the court, LeBron's holding the ball, everyone knows what the fuck they need to do. It's almost as if once he passes left, the other 3 players already know what maneuvers to run and all this kind of stuff. It was just so fluid whenever he's on the court, and there's a stats to back it up. Whenever he's on the bench, the Lakers play are not as effective.
Throughout the season, there was no leadership. You actually have stories about Kawhi, missing training, him actually asking to not, getting flights from San Diego to LA or missing flights. So obviously you can tell Doc Rivers didn't really, have control over that team at that time. So yeah, I can't agree with him right there.
Was it that Doc didn't have control?
As well, actually, there's one other point. Leadership doesn't just, happen on the court. Inspiration off the court. You know how it is. You can come into a game either confident and then 100% of your abilities are unlocked, or you can come in 80% 80%, and you're not playing at your best. I feel like with LeBron, every team he's been on, every time they step on the court, every single one of them is like showing up 100%.
Yeah, you're making average players look better.
Yeah, exactly. You're unlocking their potential, if anything. Like, you're just making them, play past even fatigue sometimes.
Does Steph have those qualities?
Draymond is the more outspoken person on the Warriors team. So we kind of leave that to him,
What you mean we? What you mean we? Are you in the locker room, man?
I knew that.
What are you talking about?
Man's out here saying we.
I did that on purpose. but like, Steph is the franchise, face of the franchise. He's there to put up his numbers. He's liked by his teammates. He doesn't need to do the whole "I'll put my arm around you" and all that kind of shit. You've got Draymond Green there. He's talking a lot. That whole notation of "I wear my emotions on my sleeve," blah blah blah. We've got each person's got their role.
But you have something different in with the Warriors. You have Steph Curry, who puts his arm around people, which is a different, like, in terms of coach, he has a different style compared to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he has a lot of trust in his players.
Yeah, he has a lot of trust in his players.
Philadelphia some Sixers. They're actually currently 6-1 right now. Obviously, like last season, they were kind of like up and down. There was a lot of like mostly down signal. So obviously changed coach from Brett Barnes to Doc Rivers this year. So what kind of change you guys think Doc has actually made since it's been there this season?
I haven't focused too much on their games to like really break it down, but I don't see any conflict so far between Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So Doc Rivers released a statement about the whole Ben Simmons shooting threes, and he was like, "Look, I'm not gonna force him. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not gonna force him. Basically, I just want him to go and do the best at what he is, driving and getting fouls and going to the free throw line, and the rest take care of itself. Like, when he's confident and he wants to, he'll shoot his threes, even though he's practicing and training. So maybe it's kind of like he's not pressuring. Like the old coach was kind of like, oh, Ben Simmons, take at least this amount of threes in the game. I just want you to take 2 or 3. And he was even going to the press saying that. Whereas Doc Rivers is like, nah, play to your strengths, build your work on your weaknesses during training, and the rest will fall into place. So it's kind of like he's kind of like motivated him really well. In terms of Joel Embiid, I don't know what Doc Rivers has really done there, but Joel is healthy. So we all knew that his health was an issue, but he's healthy right now. So I guess he just fixed himself.
Was Doc a good choice for them?
6-1, so
I would say Doc is a good choice because it gives you stability, right? Even though Doc kind of got sacked, he did a bad job. At the end of the day, he did a bad job with the Clippers. Whether it was his fault or not, he has to take ownership of what happened. So I think that's going well for them. So I think the main reason why they look better at the end of last season is because of Ben Simmons coming back from injury, but also the fact that Embiid looks healthier.
Okay.
And the thing with Embiid has always been, he starts the season well. He starts every game actually well. Like most games, he starts well as well. But then the thing is, it doesn't end the season or end the games, because having watched, as a Celtic fan, I've watched, the Celtics against the 76ers, and Embiid is unstoppable in the first quarter, but then by the fourth quarter,
he's tired.
He gets tired, or maybe it's his knee, his injuries and that kind of stuff. But it looks healthy now as well, so I'll be interested to see if he can keep it going. And also, let's just say Steph Curry is shooting over 50% from 3 points.
Yeah.
So that's
that surprised me that they signed Seth. That was actually really good. I was surprised about that.
Doc's a good coach in general, but like if you check out their schedule so far, they've had an easy run in, so it's hard to tell at the moment. Like, they haven't come up against the Celtics or even the Miami Heat or Giannis or KD in the East. So they haven't come up against any big Eastern Conference teams or Western Conference teams, really. Like, they've played the Wizards, New York, Toronto, Orlando, the Hornets twice, and their one loss was against the Cavs. So it's kind of hard to tell at the moment. But I feel like Ben Simmons and Embiid it's going to come back up during the year. Like, people already are saying if anyone leaves there, it's going to be Ben Simmons to try and get Harden in. And I'm sure that's played in Ben Simmons' mind as well. Like, if they find him, he's the one to leave, even though Embiid is the one who's always out injured for game after game. It's hard for him to play back to back.
Is that a wise choice, or is it just more of a case of Ben is more valuable at this moment?
Yeah, I think it's like, if I was building a team and you had one choice of Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, it's Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid isn't fit all the time, so you have to go with a player who's going to play every game.
You guys actually take Ben Simmons over Joel Embiid?
Yeah, but I'm taking him
for
because
fitness.
I'm taking him because, and I know Ola's probably thinking like this Anthony guy wanted to get rid of Ben Simmons before. Hang on,
Shooting.
hang on.
It's great that you're fact checking yourself. It's great.
Hang on. See. Moderator, can I get some peace? Joel Embiid, great player, defensive player, top 5 when healthy, like Clay said. His health is an issue, injury prone, blah, blah, blah. If I take him out, problem was back then, who could I have replaced? Now you have Dwight Howard, who's actually not bad. Just came from, just won the title last year, okay? And he had more minutes in the playoff than JaVale McGee, right? So he was second main center, if you want to put it that way, or whatever. So I'm like, there's a lot of experience there. So I'm like, okay, Ben Simmons, I still have a center. Perfect. If I went for Joel Embiid, I can't guarantee this guy is going to play the entire season with 100%, whereas Ben Simmons is. So I just have to go with statistically what's certain over what's uncertain.
But without injury, you would pick Embiid.
Without injury, 100%
Embiid.
Embiid, I would take Embiid.
Yeah, I think it's close. Like even while you were talking, Tony, I was kind of flipping back and forth. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ben Simmons is great. I am not putting him down at all. He deserves his all-star status.
You're not putting him down anymore.
I wasn't putting him down before. He's still an all-star, okay? He's still an all-star. It's just, I just wish if he started shooting 20%, accuracy on 3-pointers or 20% here, I'll be ecstatic. The guy would be honestly in the top 10. Maybe like Ola said, maybe he'll be number 7 or something, or whatever. He's great. He's young. He needs time. I don't know if I'm a coach, if I want to give him, wait that much time. I want to win a championship as soon as possible. If I can get a shooter like James Harden right now, get that title, make my team more relevant again, I gotta take.
For me, I think Embiid, like I don't really see him as a real top player, from my stance, because I'm just thinking of a game I saw him play in just recently against the Raptors, the same Raptors that knocked his team out in the in the NBA championship, in the playoff that the Raptors won the NBA championship. I think that was like 2 years ago. Embiid was playing in that game and he played for 32 minutes and he only had 0 points. I don't know what kind of a top player that is, to be in a game for 32 minutes and only has 0 points, So in that sense, like Ben Simmons for me, I think is a better option because, I know he can't shoot the 3, but he drives towards the rim, he makes the basket count, he engages players, he looks for the passes, it's like the younger LeBron James,
Yeah.
So I'll definitely go with him.
But the younger LeBron James was also taking threes. You know how it is in the playoffs. Everyone knows your weaknesses. If you can't do an all-around job, obviously I don't expect you to be 100% attacking the paint with like, whatever, 100%, 90% points there, and then 90% on 3-pointers is not possible. But if you can at least have 20% in the 3-pointers, even though you're like a center, you're more valuable because when the other people get locked down, you're going to be free. And if you take 2 out of 5, if you get 2 out of 5 threes, it's still a contribution rather than 0 out of 5 and forcing your way to drive in, and then you're playing into the other team's tactic and possibly losing the ball or getting steals or not getting as much point.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, you make a good point, but I don't really like saying players that don't have a skill. I mean, if I sat here and said Giannis could shoot 3-pointers, if he could have 3-pointers to his game, I mean, then he'd be maybe the greatest player ever. But
Ola, he's not good at 3-pointers, but he still attempts them from time to time.
If he can't do it, he can't do it, and I have to believe that he shoots less than 20%. I mean, if he gets better, then it'll be a different player. But it doesn't look to me like he has the skill or the confidence to shoot. So
I agree. I agree with your point actually, because you can't tell Steph Curry to dunk, because he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that ability to do that. He's good at what
actually
he does.
He can dunk, but there's
layups, man, layups.
Yeah, but he's dunked. We've seen him dunk, but we've also seen him fail at dunking as well. So he just kind of leave the dunk.
It's just an efficiency thing. Like if you think about it, you were saying how like okay he needs to shoot, and it might be 20% whatever. But if you think it's more effective and efficient to you say he's gonna drive in, but if he drives in and he scores, then what's the problem?
If he drives
if he's driving in and he's losing the ball, okay, fair enough. I mean, there's an issue there. But like if he's putting up these numbers, it's kind of like when we're talking about James Harden. If he's putting up the numbers, then what's the issue?
Okay, how about this? If you're facing a team like the Lakers, right? They've locked down your Ben Simmons to attack the paint. He has to go up against Anthony. Okay, let's just use last season for instance. He has to go against Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, and Dwight. 3 bigs. Do you expect him to keep attacking 3 bigs?
Yeah, but Tony, in that situation, I would say if Joel Embiid can't go head to head with Anthony Davis and have a decent game, then Joel Embiid isn't the player we think he is. So
Yeah,
like
but
it's not
all my point is this:
it
if
doesn't
you
fall on
miss,
Ben Simmons to solve that. Ben Simmons has the set of skills, Embiid has the set of skills, everyone has the set of skills. So that's just, I mean, you can't add another part to a player that doesn't have it. Ben Simmons will be better with a 3-pointer, but he can't.
hey,
I can't make him better at it.
No,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
I
But
think
post Jordan era, which with later half of the NBA, every player, the basics then included. Before the basics didn't include 3-point shooting. Now it does. No one expects you to be great. If you're a center and you're a traditional center and you're always in the middle, you're getting your buckets from there, but you're fully locked down now. There's only two options: you get benched for another player, or you move out to the arc and attempt a three or not. There's also something called rebounding, guys. If Ben Simmons misses and you've got Joel Embiid in the middle, a healthy Joel Embiid, this guy had what was it? I can't remember the stats. He had the most rebounds or something the season he was quite healthy. Like that's a good mix there. Like, if he misses, you've got somebody strong in there to get a rebound, and that plays into his strength. He can just jump back up, put it in, easy bucket, relatively easy. That's what I'm saying. I don't expect Ben Simmons to be sinking 6 out of 10 threes.
Yeah, I think as a coach, you have to just look at your players and and compliment them. Like you have to compliment each of the players. That's why it's a team sport. So Ben Simmons is good driving towards the rim and is good, looking for players. So to complement his game, as a coach, you should surround him with like shooters. It's just exactly as how LeBron is. You surround him with shooters and he looks for the he makes the passes to them and they nail those threes. And if he's free, then he can go for the layup or the dunk
But like
and all that.
Obi, the Lakers have more of a budget, so you're likely to get the precise skill set you need.
So sorry, what's your point? What's your point exactly, Tony?
No, my point is, I'm just saying, I would have kept the argument we just had. I would have picked Ben Simmons over a healthy Embiid if he was attempting to shoot from time to time, because I know he's gonna get us through the regular season, gonna get us into the playoff, and in the playoff, that's where he might struggle. And I need at least somebody. If they've shut you down on your greatest strength, at least your weakness is still basic. You can still shoot, and somebody will get a rebound. That's fine, because that's how the balance is. If I want you to shoot, I'm going to balance it with having rebounders there. I won't just leave you on your own. It's team sport.
On that basis, would you pick, and just kind of move the conversation on, would you pick Joel Embiid over Giannis Antetokounmpo because Giannis can't shoot threes at the level that Embiid can?
I'm taking Giannis over Embiid. I think that's a simple decision. I don't think anyone's really going to pick Embiid over Giannis, honestly.
But my point is Giannis is also limited with his shooting, and Giannis also struggles in the playoffs because he can't shoot the ball as well. So once they have the wall of 3 guys in front of him, he has to pass the ball, and someone else has to find the shot.
I agree with you, but I have still seen Giannis shoot in situations where there was no other option to drive or whatever. The fact that he's taken that option now, unfortunately, I would say he's one of their best rebounders on the team. Just happens to be the fact, but like he's sunk in some accuracy-wise, not good. But like the option is there. It's not just stuck at doing one thing for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs.
But listen, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, if your percentage is like 20%, I'll let you shoot. I messed up. I mean, we had this conversation before. You told me how, I think it was Draymond Green. You're saying like the whole team is full of shooters, yeah. But Draymond can't shoot, and you told me that people actually back off. They go ahead, shoot the ball, and he misses. So I don't really understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but Draymond Green is not exactly no Greek freak that's just gonna troll down barge through the middle and score or dunk on people like crazy. If it was Giannis, they won't just leave him be. They'll be like, it's an open lane. They'll be like, hell no, get close to him. So I'm just saying, if I was a coach, I value flexibility. That's all.
Do you think easier to build a team around Ben Simmons or Embiid?
It depends.
Like if you were going to, what was that?
It depends what's available in the market. Like, do you have this free agency having more shooters this time around, more centers? It's really what's available in the market. I'm just being honest.
So guys, just to kind of finish it off, like, so do you have early MVP candidates? Do you think, like, because I personally think maybe Joel Embiid is in the conversation this season.
Okay,
I'll answer that after 5 more games each piece.
No, to make an early prediction, you can change it.
Yeah.
We're just based on Toy, you go.
Based on what's going on so far.
I'm gonna write these down, guys. Go ahead.
Sorry, wait, what was the question? Sorry, I missed it.
So, like, MVP predictions. So, like, what kind of players are up there for you at the moment in the conversation?
How many do we name each? 3. Okay.
Already I'm putting KD is going to be up there. his first season kind of back off that injury. He's already playing well. I know he's missing games at the moment because COVID protocol, but he's going to be up there. He's going to carry that. Not carry the team, but he's going to average 30 points. We all know how much a great player he is. He's going to be in that conversation. I don't think LeBron or AD, even though they'll be in the conversation, will win it, just because they can balance off each other. No one's taking the spotlight from each other. They just want to win. They don't care, oh, I get the MVP. They just want the trophy at the end. But the other two players who are going to be in the conversation are Luka Doncic and Trae Young.
Trae Young.
Trae, getting some recognition over here.
Because they can, two of them can ball. Like, and for Trae, like, they've added some older players into that team that he can learn from, and he puts up big numbers. And I don't know if anybody's seen it, any of his games, but he can draw fouls. He went to the line the other day for I don't know how many free throws, but against the Nets, and they complained about it because they were like, "That it's what Harden did in the past. he forces a foul."
I'm impressed with his 3-point shooting as well, actually.
Yeah, he does it with a little ass bump. So when he's shooting, he kind of pushes his ass back into a player and draws a foul while not kind of putting his shot off. It's smart. Like, the league will probably tell referees about it, but it's a good way. He's putting up numbers and they look decent. They're going to make the playoffs.
You want to go next, Tony? What's yours?
LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and for my third one,
Steph Curry?
Nah, Draymond Green, man. Draymond Green.
What? Vic,
I'm joking,
when you edit this, Vic, please put this bit right after.
That was a joke,
bit
obviously.
where
That was a joke.
this guy's talking about
That was a joke. You never know. He might be
It
able to,
wasn't a joke. It wasn't a joke. It was serious.
Third,
KD? Giannis?
I don't know. KD is playing really well right now. So is Kyrie. But KD is out for how many games, possibly?
So would have started from yesterday, so 7 days. I think 3 games, maybe 4.
He's been on form, no dip. I need more time on him. I need to see a few more games, and then he would have made number 3. God damn it. The next person, I'll have to come back on the third one.
You want to go next, Ola?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna surprise everyone and pick Steph Curry, because I think if the Warriors get anywhere above the 6th, he has. I mean, if he wants to pull up 50 every night, he can do it.
He can't do that.
Well,
sorry,
I don't think it should be laughed at. He is the only unanimous MVP. We have to give him that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, given our pieces, given how much intensity he's going to go up against, like, I know he can put up the numbers, but can he put up those exact numbers consistently? Like, when was the last time he did that? In like, let's say 6 games straight or whatever. Usually he had somebody else who was shadowing him as well in terms of points, 1 or 2 more players, but now it's just him. So there's a lot more pressure. And I'm sure they're going to want to rest him. So, some minutes will be taken off him. That's why I didn't put him as number 3.
Okay. So the reason why I haven't, I mean, I know he's not going to average 50 points, but my point is there's no one else on that offense that's asking for the ball or that's trying to take shots off him. So I think if he does shine, if he wants to, basically he has unlimited shots. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to put Steph Curry there because I expect more nights like the 62 points nights from him. I don't think he'll do it, but I think he's a good chance if I had to pick 3. My other guys would be Giannis, because he's Giannis, and then LeBron James. The reason I'm not putting KD in there is because I think he's going to need to load manage this year.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Obi? Do you want to go?
Yeah, say Giannis, Steph, Luka, KD.
No LeBron.
Nah, not. I'll say if we're going for MVP of the playoffs, so whoever wins the playoffs, then I'll put LeBron there or AD. But if we're going for the season, I'll mention those 4 that I stated, and Kawhi Leonard too.
We said 3.
Oh, 3. Okay, so KD, Luka, or Giannis.
Back to you, Ty. Back to you.
Oh man, listen, I think it's a tough one. I was looking at Kawhi, yeah, And I'm thinking, I'm looking at him like, do you want to prove people wrong? Like, is it a situation where you got all that backlash? Everyone's talking this. Tony's saying load management, blah blah blah. Like, is it a case now where you feel like, no, I need to shut you up? Like, do you have that like LeBron instinct? Like, okay, I'm gonna show you what I can do on the court. Yeah, I'm gonna take my breaks with my load management, whatever. So I actually want to put him in that list, but I don't know. That's the only time I'm kind of going back and forth. But I'll say him. I'll say LeBron,
Okay.
and I'll say KD.
Well, guys, my
Actually,
third
guys, can I
player
defer on my
is
list? Yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Can I take Kawhi off my list and put Steph Curry? Did I mention Steph Curry?
No, you didn't.
No, you
You
didn't.
mentioned
Obi, you had Luca, KD, and Giannis because I'm writing it down.
Luka, KD, and Giannis. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Nah.
yeah. So my third player would be Giannis. So you got that all, yeah? You got my
so
three.
Tony, or LeBron, Doncic, and Giannis.
Yeah.
He had Draymond Green. That's his top pick.
Hey, I would have put Zaza if he was still here, man.
For my one, I'll go from KD. I'll probably say Joel Embiid if he can stay fit, because I think like he's having a great season.
Well,
Like he's averaging 25 points, 13 rebounds, three assists. So I think that's. And I'll probably say maybe Chris Paul if he does bits with Phoenix Suns, because I think they're having a great season so far. So yeah, that's my three. So
damn, I didn't expect that from you, man.
Way outside the box, man.
Yeah. Damn, fucking hell.
So yeah,
We got a Max Kellerman over here, man.
listen, Embiid, KD, and Chris Paul. That's my one.